Recovery is possible.
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 Recovery dialogues and sober stories.
Welcome back to Recovery Dialogues and Sober Stories. I'm your host, Antonio Mata. Today we have something special for you, a bonus episode that takes a reflective journey back through our enlightening conversation with Angela Phillips on the transformative power of technology in addiction and mental health recovery. As we approach the premiere of Season 3, I wanted to revisit some of the most impactful moments from our discussion with Angela. We'll be replaying key highlights from the original episode and diving even deeper into these critical topics. Together, we'll explore how technology is reshaping the recovery landscape, from evaluating mental health apps and wearable devices to addressing privacy concerns, telehealth access, and the future of personalized digital therapeutics. So whether you're on your own recovery journey, supporting a loved one, or simply interested in the intersection of technology and mental health, this episode is packed with insights you won't want to miss. So let's dive in.
Digital technology can really open up a lot of those resources to folks who wouldn't have access otherwise and wouldn't have access to that diverse setting or the diverse sort of folks or potential issues that people might be bringing to the table that otherwise they wouldn't have access to if not given the ability to connect with these more broad and wide range tools or resources or communities. Our struggles, and when we're in recovery and really coming up against challenges, they don't sleep at night, right? That keeps us up at night. And that's something that we need this constant potential connection to, which technology, particularly social media, can give us access to. I think the future of technology in addiction and mental health recovery really has the potential for a tremendous amount of improvement in access, effectiveness, and really personalization of not only treatment, but also support. Technology is really just going to continue to hone in on what an individual's unique needs are and what their preferences may be.
In the digital age, mental health apps have emerged as valuable tools for supporting well-being. However, their reliability and evidence-based nature are crucial for ensuring positive patient outcomes. These factors significantly influence user engagement and the overall effectiveness of therapeutic interventions. As the popularity of mental health apps continues to grow, it's essential to establish a rigorous evaluation framework to ensure these tools are both safe and effective. Research shows that users often trust the health information provided by these apps, highlighting the ethical responsibility of developers to deliver content grounded in evidence. This not only boosts the app's credibility, but also encourages users to engage with therapeutic activities. It's vital for practitioners to recommend apps that are backed by empirical evidence to ensure they do not cause harm and truly benefit users. Evaluating mental health apps involves looking at several key factors such as usability, personalization, and behavior change strategies. Well-designed apps guide users through processes that facilitate positive behavioral changes, reducing frustration and enhancing the overall experience. Features like guided meditation and mood tracking play a crucial role in attracting users, reflecting the increasing recognition of mental health disorders worldwide. Even if an app doesn't meet all criteria, partial compliance with important recommendations can still lead to user satisfaction and efficacy. The COVID-19 pandemic underscored the importance of mental health apps as many individuals turn to digital solutions for support. However, a significant number of these apps lack clinical validation, raising concerns about their reliability. Clinicians have expressed concerns regarding the safety and data security of these applications, emphasizing the need for health service providers to be knowledgeable about app quality indicators. A systemic assessment of app quality and integrity is crucial to help users make informed choices about their mental health care.
Depending on what we're struggling with and what our goals are, we know that wearable devices can really play a helpful and significant role in addiction recovery, primarily by tracking progress and then maintaining accountability. And devices from our smartphones and watches to other wearables that measure things like heart rate variability or monitor abstinence, particularly substance use or gambling. There are sensors that can detect certain movements related to our drug use. There's other biometric data that we can gather that bases any physiological parameters, like, again, our heart rate. We've mentioned sleep patterns, stress levels. So any of those changes that might indicate there's some sort of emotional or physical distress. This can really serve as sort of early warning signs for things like relapse or something that might be a precursor to what we know might turn into a lapse or relapse. And also, again, depending on what our goals are, we can track our activity. Like wearable fitness trackers are extremely popular and they're becoming more and more affordable. These can monitor physical activity, which we know is associated with improved mental health. We know it's also associated with a reduction in things like cravings. And so just doing something simple like achieving our daily step goals or targeting specific aspects of exercise, that can really boost our motivation and our self-esteem and our feelings of accomplishment.
Wearable devices have shown up to be powerful allies in the journey toward better health, particularly in mental health and addiction recovery. From smart watches to smart textiles, these innovative tools enable continuous monitoring of our physical and psychological well-being, allowing us to track health metrics in real time. This seamless integration of technology into healthcare not only promotes patient-centered care, but also empowers each of us to take an active role in managing our health. The potential of wearable devices to support mental health treatment, including conditions like anxiety and depression, is truly promising. Research suggests that these devices can bridge treatment gaps by offering real-time feedback and support, making them valuable companions in our mental health journeys. Additionally, they facilitate self-management of subclinical mental health disorders, easing the burden on healthcare systems and providing individuals with the tools needed for continuous self-assessment and adaptation of coping strategies. For those on the path to addiction recovery, wearable devices can be transformative. They foster accountability and encourage positive behavioral changes. By utilizing wearable technology, individuals can track their progress toward recovery goals, receive timely reminders for healthy behaviors, and engage with supportive communities, all of which enhance the recovery journey. Personal stories from those in recovery highlight how technology can create connections and provide much needed support, essential elements for successful recovery. The incorporation of wearable devices into therapeutic practices is part of a broader movement toward e-health innovations in mental health care. These technologies democratize access to health information and inspire a more engaged, proactive approach to health management. As mental health treatment evolves, ongoing research into the effectiveness of wearable devices will continue to shed light on how technology can enhance interventions and improve outcomes for those facing mental health challenges and addictions.
We want to make sure that folks are really looking at rigorously tested and validated solutions. It's really up to us to be informed about everything that we can, from our healthcare treatment options to the services that we're receiving on digital platforms. Yeah, there are absolutely ethical and privacy concerns in addiction and mental health technology, especially as these tools just increasingly become more integrated into treatments and recovery and just our daily lives. A lot of them collect really personal, sensitive information, including a lot of details about someone's history, be it their personal experience, their medical history. So really ensuring that is private and secure is extremely critical. So to help navigate that, what I would encourage is just looking for apps and services that really have robust data encryption, that are really clear about their privacy policies, and that are compliant with regulatory bodies like healthcare data in the United States is covered under HIPAA. And then for, in particular, those who are struggling with substance use and recovery, there are even higher levels of requirements and regulations, really making sure that's something. And then also that we understand how our data is going to be used. So a lot of that is something that they are required to tell us as users of their platforms. And so making sure that you're actually reading that and understanding it is very critical. And the other thing is that you're giving your informed consent. So as a user of an application or a platform, I should have a really clear understanding of how my data is going to be used. And I really need to be requested to provide informed consent for data collection and sharing. So again, read those terms and conditions and privacy policies and be cautious about granting overly excessive permissions or sharing sensitive information. And whenever there are pop-ups or there are checkboxes, things like that, make sure that you're really going through those. You're not just, obviously we're excitedly getting on platforms and we really want to get to that aspect where we're making those connections, but it'll be well worth your time if you're really researching and reading everything that you're allowing access to. Obviously, when we're giving permission for those to use our data, they potentially can own that data and they control how it's used. Again, you want to look for apps and platforms that provide users with their own control over their data, your ability to delete or export your information. And again, you're really learning and understanding the terms and conditions to those policies. There's always going to be a potential for exploitation, and that folks may prioritize profits and their own sort of benefit over the well-being of their users. So again, make sure you're educating yourself about those platforms that you're using, and that there are certainly vulnerable populations that are using these platforms. When we're in the throes of a really challenging and difficult time, we may not have the insight that we would if we were doing really well. A lot of these organizations have certainly people behind them, but at the end of the day, they are companies and they're managed by bodies of individuals. And they need to make profits in order to be able to provide services. It's really up to us to be informed about everything that we can, from our healthcare treatment options to the services that we're receiving on digital platforms.
Even though mobile applications have become powerful tools in mental health and addiction interventions, these apps collect sensitive personal data. So understanding privacy and ethical considerations is essential to ensure users feel secure and informed. Unfortunately, many apps lack clear privacy policies, leaving users in the dark about how their data is used and shared. Studies reveal that a significant number of health apps either inadequately disclose their data practices or lack privacy policies altogether, which can erode user trust and discourage the use of these valuable tools. One major hurdle is the complexity of privacy policies. Many users find the legal jargon and detailed terms overwhelming, creating a barrier to truly informed consent. Research shows that users often struggle to grasp the implications of sharing their data through health-related apps, leading to a false sense of security. This misunderstanding can leave data vulnerable to misuse, underscoring the need for policies that are not only transparent, but also easily understandable. To protect user data effectively, it is crucial to advocate for privacy policies that are clear and accessible, aligning with ethical standards. The General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, emphasizes the importance of data minimization, suggesting apps should only collect what is necessary for their purpose. However, adherence to these guidelines is inconsistent, with many apps collecting excessive personal information without proper justification. This inconsistency calls for stronger regulatory frameworks to ensure data is handled responsibly and ethically. Educating users about privacy and security practices is a vital step toward building trust. By equipping individuals with the knowledge to scrutinize privacy policies and understand the potential risk of data sharing, we empower them to make informed decisions. Community oversight mechanisms, which allow users to collectively address privacy and security concerns, have been proposed as a way to foster a culture of transparency and accountability.
Wow, there are so many advancements and it's just so much more availability that's come up in relation to addiction and mental health recovery recently. And in particular, where I overlap a lot is the digital therapeutics space. So there have been a lot of apps that have been developed, just generally speaking, right? And that can be for a variety of reasons. But on the digital therapeutic spectrum, this is really going to be something that is evidence-based or that's working toward being an evidence-based sort of treatment that can supplement something someone else is doing or just provide additional support. And so that looks like potentially AI-driven cognitive behavioral therapy. It could be exposure therapy through virtual reality. And that's for a variety of sort of illnesses or symptoms related to potentially addiction or phobias. The other role that I think virtual support groups and things like that can play is really giving consistency to what we need or what we know folks need that are going through recovery. And so one of the big pieces is really focusing on getting a routine, getting a schedule, being consistent with it, right? And so to have the ability to access so many different types of groups all over the state, the nation, the world really gives us more and more opportunity to build that into our daily lives and our routine, which then is just a constant feeder into what we need in order to create and continue being consistent and holding ourselves accountable and connecting with others and having cheerleaders out there, folks who will continue to support us. The other big piece is really being able to find niche groups that folks really end up, I think, looking for, and a lot of times are deterred from groups because of. If someone were to be referred to more of a general or broad, maybe recovery group, or I know I've worked with a lot of folks in different mental health and wellness sort of spaces, and there are a lot of support groups out there, but there aren't many that will potentially really focus on something that's more specific. So I have seen communities just blossom and grow out of one person saying, you know what, I know I'm not the only person out there experiencing this. Let me see if I put myself out there, if I put my story out there, maybe others will feel confident and comfortable in being able to come forward and connect with me. And certainly that's happened and that's grown those really specialized groups. And then finally, when it comes to accountability, I think, again, this goes back to being able to have that flexibility, build it into your routine, but it also gives us so many other points of contact and folks who are sharing their experiences. And in turn, that really gives us more of an intrinsic motivation to take these external sort of community outreach connections. And then finally, I love that social media can also really help motivate and shed light on advocacy and awareness. It really puts a lot more tools in our hands when it comes to advocating for the issues that we've experienced or that we've seen others, raise that awareness, promote change, and promote and support others who are doing the same, because we do have this really big sense of not being alone and not wanting to feel isolated when we realize that we can get out of our own heads and out of our own way and connect with others. And because that is such a big piece and big component of the recovery communities that most of us have probably been a part of.
In the ever-evolving healthcare landscape, telehealth has materialized as a source of hope, particularly for those in underserved areas. Its transformative power lies in its ability to break down barriers and enhance access to mental health services for populations that have historically faced significant challenges, such as low-income communities and racial or ethnic minorities. During crises like the COVID-19 pandemic, telehealth proved invaluable valuable, offering a lifeline to those disproportionately affected. The COVID-19 pandemic acted as a catalyst, accelerating the adoption of telehealth and underscoring its critical role in maintaining continuity of care when traditional in-person visits were not feasible. This shift has been particularly beneficial for underserved communities where issues like transportation and provider shortages often impede access to mental health services. Telepsychiatry, for example, has been highlighted as a viable solution to expand mental health services in emergency departments, especially in rural and underserved areas where mental health providers are scarce. While telehealth holds great promise, its effectiveness in reducing disparities hinges on addressing existing barriers to technology access and digital literacy. Not all patients are equally equipped to utilize these services due to factors such as lack of internet access and comfort with technology. This is especially true for populations with lower socioeconomic status, who may face additional challenges in accessing the necessary technology for telehealth services. It is crucial for policymakers and healthcare providers to collaborate on strategies that enhance digital access and literacy among underserved populations. The integration of telehealth into mental health care systems offers valuable insights for shaping policies aimed at improving access to care. By examining the impact of telehealth on mental health service utilization, researchers can provide evidence-based recommendations for policy adjustments that prioritize equity in healthcare access. Understanding the legal and regulatory framework surrounding telehealth can help identify barriers and opportunities for expanding services to underserved communities. Ongoing research into the effectiveness of telehealth to diverse populations is essential to ensure these services meet the unique needs of various demographic groups.
The future of technology in addiction and mental health recovery really has the potential for a tremendous amount of improvement in access, effectiveness, and really personalization of not only treatment, but also support and just overall resources. And so what I'm seeing in terms of personalized interventions is that technology is really just going to continue to hone in on what an individual's unique needs are and what their preferences may be, and really getting a better sense of what progress is going to look like for each individual person based on so many multi-factor components. And so I think in order to maximize the potential of personalized interventions, that we really need to actively engage with technology tools. And although we did talk about the promises and challenges of data collection, this is where a lot of that data and that research is going to come into play and show us whether or not these sorts of personalized interventions are going to work. So we really can take it upon ourselves to give active feedback and communicate with our healthcare providers and really any of the digital technology tools that we're interacting or engaging with. The more feedback and the more information that we can give when we know that it's to the best of our ability being used for the purposes that we would want to see, the better that the outcomes can be of really refining and honing in on what those tools can look like for not only ourselves, but for others in the future. When it comes to digital therapeutics, which is what I do a lot of work in, act-based cognitive behavioral therapy or virtual reality interventions or other sorts of therapeutic interventions, the more that we engage with these products and the more that we help refine and grow them, the more we can say that they're evidence-based and the more that we can show data that supports the improvement of what symptoms we're trying to target or whatever it is that a goal that someone's trying to reach when it comes to utilizing those digital therapeutics. So really encouraging to look at how we can explore and use these under the guidance of healthcare professionals and then integrate them into treatment plans. So it's going to be, again, really up to researchers that are designing programs and ways to collect and analyze that data. But it's up to us as the individuals who are utilizing those programs to then honestly share how we're experiencing them and how we're progressing with them, be it progress in a specific trend. But I think overall, as long as we're being honest about how we're doing as we're using those products to our best ability, the more that these data scientists or researchers or therapists are able to really understand if their interventions are being effective or not.
The potential for personalization and enhanced effectiveness in mental health and addiction recovery is expanding beyond the boundaries of traditional telehealth. Recent research illuminates a promising trend, the integration of diverse digital technologies into mental health care. This evolution is not just about keeping pace with technological advancements. It's about transforming how we approach treatment to make it more personalized, accessible, and effective. One of the most exciting advancements is the use of technology-assisted platforms such as avatars and virtual reality. These tools are showing great promise in treating complex issues like co-occurring disorders, including addiction and intimate partner violence. By facilitating evidence-based therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, these platforms are proving effective in addressing a wide range of psychological challenges from depression to anxiety. The beauty of these technologies lies in their ability to tailor interventions to individual need, enhancing both the therapeutic experience and outcomes. The integration of digital mental health interventions into a multimodal care approach is increasingly seen as essential. Research suggests that combining in-person treatment with digital tools can significantly improve patient outcomes and reduce dropout rates. This approach respects the importance of patient choice and engagement, which are crucial for building effective therapeutic relationships. The COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the adoption of telehealth, showcasing its potential to provide continuous care while also highlighting the need for effective communication strategies between primary care and mental health providers. The pandemic has underscored the necessity for innovative treatment modalities. As access to mental health care becomes more critical, telehealth and guided self-help have emerged as vital components in meeting the increased demand for services. These technologies not only enhance access, but also allow for the delivery of personalized care adaptable to each patient's unique circumstances. For many, telehealth offers a comfortable alternative to traditional face-to-face settings, thereby expanding the reach of mental health services. The exploration of mobile health or mHealth technologies presents an exciting frontier in mental health care. Research indicates that mHealth interventions can effectively reduce stigma, promote engagement, and enhance access to services, particularly among marginalized populations. The potential for these technologies to deliver personalized care tailored to the sociocultural context of individuals is a significant area for future research and development. That about does it for this deep dive into the transformative role of technology in addiction and mental health recovery. I hope our reflections and discussions have provided you with valuable insights and sparked new ideas on how technology can support recovery journeys. As we gear up for the launch of Season 3, stay tuned for more bonus content, inspiring stories, and engaging dialogues. We're committed to bringing you the best in recovery conversations, and we couldn't do it without your support. If you have found value in our podcast, please consider supporting us through our GoFundMe campaign. Your contributions help us continue to create meaningful content and reach more people who can benefit from these discussions. We're also looking for sponsors for the upcoming season. If you're interested in partnering with us and being part of our mission to foster understanding and support around addiction and mental health, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for being part of our community. Until next time, stay strong and keep the conversation going.
Recovery is possible.
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 Recovery dialogues and sober stories.